Alright, so what is on, guys? This is Faye back here as usual. So lately I've been occupied with work, so yeah, I was actually kind of busy. So since I have some like spare time now, so yeah, as promised, I'll make a DEHYA guide or video throughout this. So yeah, so in this video, we'll be talking about DEHYA and as well as some details and guides about DEHYA's kit and other stuff. So DEHYA has just released, and technically the whole community is flaming about her. Alright, I don't know what's the issue of them, but for me, I'm actually kind of fine with it. Like DEHYA is actually good. Alright, DEHYA's situation reminds me of another 5-star character previously, which is Sangonomiya Kokomi. Alright, so regarding about why would I say it reminds me of Kokomi, is because they are having situations that are actually so similar. So remember what happened when Kokomi was initially released, alright, because the community is so toxic and they don't even care about anything. Alright, when Kokomi was released, everyone is expecting a Hydro DPS or something or anything else. Alright, so what happens is actually, alright, Kokomi got flamed so much that literally almost no one pulled for a banner. I mean, there are people who still pull, but the income for the banner is actually quite low. And what's worse is the community is so dog water. Like, some people just went into Kokomi's voice actor stream and start trash talking in the chat. Alright, that's how terrible that time is. Alright. And also for Kokomi, that time everyone also joked her as 5-star Barbara. But as time goes on and passes on, I'm pretty sure all of us had already seen like how good Kokomi actually is. Alright, like you can technically see her in almost like majority free to play accounts because that just shows like how good she is. Alright. So for DEHYA, it's kind of the same situation. Like, because DEHYA just got initial release and everyone is like trash talking about her. But however, the moment everyone is like focusing like trash talking or just like saying how bad DEHYA is, they also ignored about how good DEHYA can also be and what's so unique and special about DEHYA. Alright. So in this video, I will be going through DEHYA bit by bit, as detailed as I can. I'm not professional, alright, but I'll go through as detailed as I can. And yeah, I hope this video actually help those who pull for DEHYA and already built her or don't know how to build her, or you get DEHYA by accident or whatsoever. Alright, I hope this video can actually help you to build DEHYA better. Alright. So first of all, there is a 5-star unit, and she might be available in standard banner in the future, like probably in 3.6 or something. The current version is 3.5, so when 3.5 is over, I will assume they will end to the standard banner. So in my privacy at the end, version 3.6, yeah, standard banner. So she's a Pyro Claymore character, alright, and she ascends with HP percentage. Alright, so her basic attack kit is same as Beidou, like four stances of basic attack and charge attack, function attack, nothing special. Alright, so her elemental skill have a 20-second cooldown. Alright, so what does the elemental skill do is actually pretty straightforward. Alright, I made it pretty straightforward to understand. Alright, so technically she deploys a field and the field exists for 12 seconds. Alright, so what does the field do is the field actually the field is able to mitigate damage of the on-field character except DEHYA herself. Alright, so at level 1 the field mitigates like 32% of the damage received, and what happens to the damage received is like the damage received will be not convert, will be transferred to DEHYA. Alright, will be transferred to DEHYA directly herself or field. Like over time, like it will transfer on the spot, like immediately all the damage will be transferred, but the damage received by DEHYA off field will be like over 10 seconds. Alright. So the damage mitigator cannot exceed 200% of DEHYA's max HP. Alright, by this means like for example, if you have 20,000 HP on DEHYA, so do you know how insane she's gonna be? Like technically with this thing here means like she can probably mitigate 40,000 HP, which is actually quite insane. Yes. And she's able to recast the skill once and will reposition the ring. So it doesn't refresh the ring duration. Alright. So another thing I forget to mention here is the field will coordinate at a pyro attack every 2.5 seconds. Yep, I forget to mention this. So yeah. Another one is the field will coordinate a pyro attack. Yeah, every 2.5 seconds. Alright, so to our elemental burst, which actually costs 70 energy and has a 16-second or 20-second cooldown, I actually forgot. Alright, so the elemental burst is a 4-second burst, quite short actually, but during this burst she is able to spam multiple punches, like up to 10 if I'm not mistaken. Alright, within this state you will need to spam attack. Yes, you might need to keep spamming the attack button and metal skill button or the whatever button you just press that makes a punch. Alright, because if you spam punches like 0.4 seconds after the punch, like the previous punch, you will actually punch faster and faster. Alright, so when you start the elemental burst, she will retrieve the ring and create a new one when the burst is ended. When the burst has ended. Alright, so within her elemental burst, she will be unable to cast normal, charge, and plunging attack as well as elemental skill. Alright, so this thing is normally excluded by people, so whenever they are playing DEHYA, they will be like, why can't my DEHYA proc Xingqiu's burst or Yelan's burst or like my Electro Traveler's burst? Alright, of course you can't because it's not normal attack, so you probably can't proc it. Like there's nothing wrong with it. Or Beidou's burst or whatsoever, it doesn't. But however, it will be like you'll still be able to proc like what? Not Beidou's, Raiden's E and related mechanics like that. Alright. So there are two phases of the elemental burst, like for all the punches, yeah. And also the ending kick, which is actually the last kick. So the last kick is actually pretty insane to interrupt the enemy's like interruption. So technically, if I'm not mistaken, I remember like that one kick can kick up a Mitachi or a Lawachu if I'm not mistaken. Like send it flying like literally. So it's actually pretty insane. Alright, so to our passive skill. So this passive skill is literally like I don't know what are the chances of using this. Alright, it says increases character movement speed by 10% during the day, which is the exact opposite of Rosaria. So you can get this skill when as long as you get her, like you just pull for her, yeah. So level 20 Ascension, alright. It says here damage mitigated will be like decreased by 60% after retrieving the ring through elemental skill or burst. And it has a 2-second cooldown. Yeah. And redeploying the field will grant characters inside the ring an even further interruption increase. So by an even further interruption increase, I mean it technically just gives you the highest grade of interruption increase. Alright. Means like if you're using a bold character, technically you can just ignore a lot of interruption. So which is actually really good. And plus it also mitigates damage. Which means like this with this thing on there, they can technically just tank 200%, okay, plus the damage will be mitigated minus 60%, so she can actually tank more than just 200%. So she's actually pretty insane. Alright. So beyond 200%, like you can just calculate all the damage received minus 60% again after you retrieve the ring through a skill or burst. Alright, so for her level 60 ascension, it's kind of special. Alright. uh, like it says when HP is less than 40%, alright, there will be two effects. So you'll instantly regen 20% max HP, alright. And for the next one, you will be regening 6% max HP every 2 seconds for 10 seconds. So it means like you'll proc this for 5 seconds. I mean, no, 5 times. So technically you'll regen 30%. So in total, you'll regen 50% of your max HP. So this thing have a 20-second cooldown. And this thing can be affected by healing bonus, of course. Alright, so into her constellations. Alright. Her constellations are actually, I would like to say, a bit damaged. Damage preferred. Alright. So her C1 increases 20% of her max HP, which makes her even more tanky. Alright. So, and it also makes her elemental skill scales on 3.6% of her max HP, and makes the elemental burst skills on 6% of her max HP. Alright, this means like she can scale even more compared to like just the basic scaling. I mean, the elemental skill and burst technically scales on attack and max HP. So this C1 will increase her damage even further by scaling on max HP. So into C2, so C2 is actually pretty good. Increases the duration of the ring by 6 seconds if you recast it. Alright. And it also increases damage within the redeployed field Fury Sanctum by 50% for next coordinated attack. Alright, so C3 and 5. So C3 and 5 increases elemental burst and skill level by 3. Alright, the burst first for C3 and the skill for C5. Alright, for C4, every hit during elemental burst restores 1.5 energy for DEHYA and regens 2.5% of her max HP, 0.2 seconds CD. Yeah. So technically this thing, like, it cycles DEHYA's burst and also like gives her more survivability. So technically she's almost impossible to die at like C4 already. So for C6, alright, C6 is a damage constellation. It's so straightforward, alright. So it says increases the elemental burst punches crit rate, which is Leonin Bite. I would just say it's punches crit rate by 10%. Alright. So every crit punch on the enemy will extend the skill duration by 0.5 seconds up to 2 seconds, and increase the crit damage of next punch by 15% up to 60%. Alright. Yeah, so this is like more damage concentrated, like constellation. Yeah. So for her builds here, alright, so I have came up with multiple weapon choices. Alright, by multiple I mean actual multiple. Alright, so for 5 stars, of course, we have her signature weapon in the first place. Alright, so her signature weapon, Beacon of the Red Sea. Okay, it adds a ton of crit rate. If I'm not wrong, it's 31.1. Alright, with a high base attack, which is 608. And the weapon passive provides a lot of attack percent and also a scary amount of HP percent. So the attack percent is like 20%, and another 20% when you get hit. And when you're not protected by a shield, you get 32% HP percent. Yeah, on the weapon passive. So in a nutshell, this thing is actually pretty insane for DEHYA herself. Alright, so if you don't have a Beacon of the Red Sea, you can give her Wolf Greystone. So this thing adds a ton of attack percent, which technically just increases DPS by a scary amount. Alright. So for Skyward Pride, alright, this weapon have finally come to use after so long in my list. Alright. So Skyward Pride have the highest base attack among claymores, which is like 674. So, and also the weapon substat gives ER. Alright. And the weapon passive gives overall minor damage improvement. Alright. So, and next we have Red Horn, which is Ito's signature weapon. Alright. So it's my personal recommendation is like not really nice. It's just a stat weapon that adds ton of crit damage, and other stats are almost useless because it has a low base attack and the weapon passive can't really be utilized by the right. So the last in the list we have the Unforge. So this thing also adds a lot of attack percent, but it needs to be paired with a shield for max weapon passive usage. Alright. Another claymore I didn't mention here is Eula's weapon, Broken Pines. Yeah, because that weapon doesn't really fit there, so yeah, I kind of gave up. Alright, so into the 4 stars, as you can see, I have a whole fucking list of 4 stars here. So, alright, first weapon for 4 stars, we have the Bell. Alright, finally, after so long, besides Dory, we have someone who can actually use the Bell. Alright, so the Bell, it increases HP percentage and provides shield when the character receives damage every 10 seconds. Alright, so character protected by the shield also have increased damage. Yeah, increased damage instead of increased attack, which is actually really good. Alright, so next we have Prototype Archaic. This weapon increases overall damage. Alright, and in third we have Serpent Spine. Serpent Spine, you can't really utilize the weapon passive because the weapon passive requires you to be on field. So the only reason you use this weapon is because it is a crit rate weapon. Yeah, crit rate weapon, just 4 stats. Alright. So for the fourth weapon in place, we have the Luxurious Sea Lord, aka Tuna Claymore. Alright, so what this weapon do is increase elemental burst damage and also like gives you AoE damage if your elemental burst hits enemies. Alright, so this is an event limited weapon previously, so for those who don't have this, yeah, you probably can't get it anymore. Alright, so another one is Black Cliff Slasher. So this weapon have a slightly lower base attack. Yeah, but it adds a lot of crit damage, like 36.8 if I'm not wrong. Like it's actually a really great amount for 4-star weapons. Alright, the next one we have Kasuragi Kirinagamasa. Alright, so for those who don't know what weapon this is the Inazuma crafting series claymore. You can technically get this from story quest. Alright, so this weapon in my personal opinion is one of DEHYA's 4-star best fit. Right, so the weapon increases elemental skill damage. I forget to write here damage. Alright, and also it regens your character's elemental burst energy when elemental skill hits. So in my personal opinion, it cycles well because this thing also procs off field. I forget to mention. Yeah, the regen energy also procs like off field, so means that even DEHYA stays off field, she can somehow still regain her energy well. Alright, and plus this weapon also gives ER. The weapon substat is actually ER, so means that DEHYA can probably cycle her energy well on this. Alright, so the Makaira Aquamarine is the Sumeru series 4-star limited gacha claymore. So for this weapon, I'm not too sure, but according from what I slightly remember, alright, this weapon converts EM to attack if I'm not wrong. Yeah, this weapon converts like EM to attack if I'm not mistaken. Alright, next we have Akomaru. So this is the Inazuma limited series gacha claymore. Alright, so this weapon increases the equipping character's elemental burst damage based on the team's energy cost. So it means that the higher your team's energy cost, like the higher your character who's equipping this claymores the elemental burst damage. Alright, actually quite fit they are too because some people prefer their burst damage. Alright, so Forest Regalia. Alright, this claymore is the Sumeru self-crafting series claymore. You can get it through like exploring Sumeru. You get sigil and you go to the Aranara quest where you need to do the world quest first, and then you unlock the tree, and then you no, it's not the tree. You need to finish the world quest to just exchange the blueprint for this weapon. Alright, technically you can just unlock all 5 of them. Alright, so this weapon adds ER. and it also provides elemental mastery when triggering danger related reactions like burning, burgeon, blah blah blah, or whatever. I'm too lazy to mention all the reactions. Alright, so next we have Milk Flower. Alright, so for this weapon is the 3.5 big version event weapon. So for those who didn't get this weapon, RIP, rest in peace, you just miss this weapon. Alright, so for those who have it, congrats. I hope you R5 it. Alright, so this weapon increases EM and attack when you trigger an elemental reaction, and the weapon substat is also EM. So means that this weapon is actually good if your DEHYA plays elemental reaction. If not, then I mean it's still usable, right? So next we have Favonius Sword. So Favonius Sword, it gives ER when your character's crit. So it's kind of like a support sword at this point, but the weapon passive only procs when your character is on field, right? So next we have Sacrificial Claymore. Alright, so Sacrificial Claymore, it resets your elemental skill cooldown. So it depends on people's playstyle if you want to use for this weapon. Alright. So next we have artifacts. Alright. So artifacts, there are actually like very few choices when we actually come into this, but I also heard from beta news, like they say there might be a new artifact set coming for DEHYA or HP percentage related characters. I'm not too sure, but for now this is what I can actually find. Alright, first in best in slot we have 4-piece tenacity. Alright, so what does 4-piece tenacity do? So it increases for the 2-piece, it increases the HP percentage by 30%, which is actually good for DEHYA. She needs HP percentage. Alright, and also it increases attack percent of the team and shield strength of the team. Alright, if your elemental skill hits a character, also works off you. But however, keep in mind DEHYA's elemental skill actually have a downtime, like 12 seconds and 20 seconds, so there's like 8-second downtime. Or you can use the burst to reset the ring, so you won't get that downtime too much. Alright. So for those who haven't found for 4-piece, or you are just lazy, you don't want a 4-piece, of course you can go for 2-piece tenacity and 2-piece gladiator with Shimenawa Echoes and Vermilion, whichever gives you 18% attack or 15% pyro damage bonus. Alright, so or you can give 4-piece emblem, which is extremely not recommended because you're just wasting artifact set effects. Alright, unless you are C6 DEHYA, then I won't comment much. Alright, so 4-piece Vermilion also works, but it works only when you have your burst and also when you got hit by enemy, which means your HP is constantly dropping, which is actually true if your HP is dropping from the damage mitigator over 10 seconds, like when I previously mentioned up there. Yeah, so it can work, but the problem is you need to have your burst first. Alright, so the last one we have 4-piece Ocean Cube Clam. Okay, this is an AFK build. So about this build, I actually saw someone did this with fucking DEHYA Ocean Cube Clam, and she just AFK killed Aishaha. But it will just take forever. This is an AFK build to ensure you don't die. Alright, so for P stats, alright, so for Sense, I will prefer you to give her HP percentage. Of course, attack percentage also works, or EM also works. Alright, so next is the Goblet part. So Goblet part is obviously HP percent comes in priority first, then pyro damage bonus if you want attack, and finally attack percent bonus. Alright, for Circlet, also HP percent comes first, crit rate, crit damage, and finally attack percent. Alright, so the best way to build DEHYA is actually HP percent tank support rather than sub DPS and over on field DPS. Alright, so if you look properly and carefully, all her constellation are actually like increasing, like actually instead of like I said damage related, but however within all damage related, like you can still see like they are actually still like related to DEHYA's HP percentage. Right, so it's actually pretty straightforward. Like even the level 60 essentially is pretty like It's directly just there, like it literally tells you HP percentage. All right. So instead of like trying to make her into force her into a sub DPS or dealing damage, how about you just build her into a HP percent tank, which is actually good. Yeah, which is actually like kind of good for tanking a lot of damage. All right, because imagine this at level 10, it actually mitigates 50% of your damage. So 50% means if the enemy hit you like approximately 10,000, she'll mitigate like 5,000 of the damage. All right, and then with this level 20 ascension skill here, the passive skill of level 20 ascension, you will technically like you will take even lesser damage if you did that. All right, so this that's why I say like building HP percent on her is actually a really good investment, and it's actually really easy to build. So it's like technically lower investment but high payback, just like Zhong. All right. So her kit is actually quite unique, as I studied all the way here. So I've been playing DEHYA on my friend's account last time. So her kit is actually really good. So a lot of people haven't actually realized how good is she. So on conditions that you will use her are actually really rare, because everyone is like, oh, I have a Zhongli, I have a Diona, I have shields, I have heals, I have Kokomi, I have Barbara, I have Bennett. Why do I need a DEHYA? Like everyone start like saying like, oh, DEHYA is actually so shit and whatsoever. All right, so yeah, DEHYA can self heal. All right, she can mitigate damage, but however, you still need to carry a healer on your team to actually heal your team. Like heal those who got mitigated but can't self heal. Okay, but the biggest problem of this thing is a lot of people say DEHYA's damage mitigated is not good. Like just make DEHYA like higher damage output, or just give her like team healing or something. All right, so for that, I won't actually judge her or say too much, because like it's a unique mechanic. Like it's the first time I'm actually trying, like I saw them putting damage mitigation in Genshin. So it's like actually pretty unique. So a lot of people haven't realized like how good and useful damage mitigation is. So let me give you a solid example. All right, your shield can't tank the damage that the enemy is giving you. This situation sounds pretty familiar, right? Remember the time where you got dominated by 15 Rift Hounds in 412 second half? Where you are forced to build healers that technically can heal your character, but however you need to think of a way to keep cycling your character. Alright? Like you need to keep how should I say this? Like you have to, it's either you have a healer that can heal your whole team and lack energy, or you have a healer that heals a ton but it requires you to be on field, which is actually Bennett. Or you can have insane heals also on field like Kokomi. Alright, but however, keep in mind that Rift Hound's bleeding effect can stack, which means that at one point it may just outrun your heal by a lot. Alright, it may at a certain point, alright, you might not, but at some point it will just like exceed the amount that you can actually heal, and where shields can't block it actually. Right, so at this moment, if you can't heal that much, damage mitigation comes in really handy, because it helps you separate damage to a backfield off field tank, so your current character is able to receive lesser damage. Alright, it is able to receive lesser damage too, and therefore your heal can actually balance out the damage output that the enemy is actually giving to you. Alright, so in my opinion, DEHYA is a character with a lot of potential. Alright, So for those who accidentally got DEHYA, or those who pull for DEHYA, don't be upset, or don't like get outrun by others, like saying like, no, DEHYA is actually not good, look at this, she's bad, look at that, she's bad. All right, so for that I can say, don't worry, DEHYA has her value, it's just not her time to shine yet. All right, so keep in mind that the damage mitigation mechanics only works when the field exists. Just keep in mind, within these 12 seconds, if enemies are trying to burst you, so you can deploy the field and you can actually tank damage. Alright. Now you can actually help tank the damage off. And your DEHYA can also have like damage mitigate reduction. Like just spam, just like recast the skill again. Alright, because you will retrieve the ring. Alright. So retrieving the ring, she will have lesser damage mitigated. Yeah, and therefore like she can tank even longer. Alright, so that's all I wanna say about DEHYA in this video. Alright, so I hope those people like, I hope DEHYA havers like just just kind of stay strong, you know, like the community had been quite toxic about DEHYA. Alright, when she was actually released, the whole community is like fed up and flaming here and there. Alright, so yeah, wish DEHYA havers continue what you're actually doing. Alright, I personally don't have DEHYA because I promised to not pull until 4.0, but however I did pull on weapon banner because my character banner went into guaranteed. I mean, I lose to a Jin, so technically I have a C3 Jin. So therefore I have a guarantee, so it means that I can't pull until 4.0 where Folklore came out. Alright, so weapon banner I lose to a Skyward Spine, so yeah, I guess that's also stopped for me. So technically I can only release videos like this instead of like character demo videos. Yeah, so I think, yeah, more videos like this will be released if I want to do any character guides or whatsoever. Like, so that's all about my video today. So wishing everyone in Genshin still having fun. Alright, don't get driven by the waves too much. Alright, just keep on what you're doing and hope the new banners, the Shenhe and Ayaka banner. So I hope those who want Shenhe and Ayaka, you can get whoever you wanted, and also good luck for those who are actually pulling on weapon banner. Alright, so that's all for today's video. Thank you for watching all the way here. It's a pretty long video. There's too much to say in this video. Alright, so thank you very much, guys. I will see you in the next video, and I don't know when it is. So peace.